And welcome back. We did go ahead and wash the exterior and the interior of the truck. I'll show you that here in a bit, but I didn't record any of that because it's just washing a vehicle. If anyone's interested, we'll cover that a little bit more in depth once we get this vehicle to the point that we're ready to just do a exterior buff on it and try to bring some of this paint back. But just doing some cursory checks here before we attempt to crank this motor over. Obviously, just looking at the air filter here, it's seen better days, as you can see, but it's not too terrible. Definitely needs to be replaced. And the transmission fluid, let's just show you that here. This out into the light. You can see there it's still has a little bit of a red tinge to it. You could definitely tell it's a little bit on the used side, starting to turn a little bit brown, so it definitely needs to be replaced. But again, that'll be a service item that we get to here eventually. And you can see that we did pick up a battery for it and some other necessities in order to attempt to crank it, because it did come from the transport from the auction without the battery in it, which will be fun because once we go to scan this thing, we won't see any code history on it, unfortunately, with the battery being removed. So if it's got any sensor issues, we won't know about it. The engine oil doesn't look too terrible. It's not entirely black. I mean, it's still kind of a little bit in the brownish stage, so it's not horrible. So it's definitely had its engine oil changed and maintained, at least per the sticker on the window, so that is nice to see. For other items that we noticed just on a kind of a visual inspection is back here on this tire, which we've got a slow leak on this tire. I need to get some more air in it, as you can see there. But there is a dangling sensor wire that you can see right here. And what this is a speed sensor. Looks like it's been completely pulled out of its little holder up there. So I did order 2 of these Mopar speed sensors just to go ahead and get this one replaced, because obviously we'll need to replace the speed sensor on this side. I went ahead and just preemptively ordered 2 in case we run into an issue on the other side. But I wanted to show you some of this undercarriage as well, and just kind of what I was talking about earlier. And from what you can see, you'll notice it doesn't look, again, terrible. It actually looks fairly nice. There's the exhaust system I was telling you about in the last video. You can see it just comes up to a Flowmaster and then exits out. So it has a Y pipe, which I'll show you here in a second. Actually, if I can crawl down to it. You'll have to forgive the camera work because I'm working out here onto the street until I can get this thing moved. Looks like we got a little bit of seepage on the transfer case. So we'll have to see what's up with that. That may just be road grime blowing down from elsewhere. But we'll have a look. And you got a little bit of road grime, a little bit of a buildup or seepage right here. But again, it's not terrible. It looks like that may just been possibly dripping down from when they were doing oil changes from the filler. Like I said, the oil looks good, but to show you that Y pipe I was telling you about earlier, so it's very much like the 2500 that we have up there on the hill. The exhausts both come out. You have your cats right here. They both come out and they Y into a single exhaust that they then put a, probably looks like a custom length of pipe into, and then into the Flowmaster. but not too terrible. So we know we have a couple items, at least right off the top. Oh, and there's another one. Yeah, you can see it there, hopefully. You can see that speed sensor's been wire has been completely sliced through on this side. Almost, I mean, that's a pretty nice cut. It's almost like somebody cut it with a pair of wires. So that sensor will have to be replaced as well. So I'll have to get at least one of them on order. And they order two, again, just to cover the one for the other side in case there's an issue with it. So what we can expect once we power this thing up and attempt to start it is that we should have a bazillion error messages on the dash for traction control and ABS, things of that nature, especially with those sensors being cut. And it's going to throw the computer for a loop because the computer's not going to know what's going on. Okay, good. There's the connector for it. So where they cut it was downstream of this connector, which is nice because it means we don't have to worry about it. Good. And that looks like that probably went there at one point in time. And with this just dangling, they may have went off-road and pulled that in order to snap it, but yeah, who knows. So we know we got busted speed sensors on both sides that we need to address. No harm, no foul. We'll get to that. And like I said, engine oil, as you saw, looks good. Transmission fluid, looks okay. Definitely needs to be changed, but it looks okay. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull one of the spark plugs out, probably on the passenger side, and scope it. And if I can get some video of it, I'll take some quick video of it just so we can kind of look around, and we'll see where we go. But I'll start with the passenger side and pull at least one plug out of each cylinder, kind of give everything a look, and then we'll go from there. But I'll bring you back. Thank you much. Okay, welcome back. Looks like this scope on this video capture does have a built-in camera. I'm sorry, camera, but microphone. So we're going to try it. Hopefully the audio turns out okay on this. So we've got a spark plug out of the number 2 cylinder, and it was an NGK spark plug that came out. I'm happy to see that because at least I know in the newer Hemis they come with NGKs from the factory, so I'm happy to see that that was continued. Let's get you down the number 2 cylinder here. Take a peek. So what you're seeing there is the top of the cylinder, and it's hard for me to see on this viewfinder exactly what you're seeing there, but I'm not seeing any debris, just some carbon buildup, which is 100% normal. Switch you over to the side camera view. What you see there is the valve, one of the valves anyway, which looks good. That's the top of the piston again. Let's get you back to the front of the view. And that one looks good. So it's going to be the same process for the remainder. I'm going to try to get one spark plug out of each cylinder, scope it just to make sure there's not any debris or any kind of mechanical damage, and then we'll attempt to start up. But I'm going to go ahead and splice this video into the next one, or I'll see if the editing software will let me do an overlay. If not, it'll just be a splice in. Other than that, we'll bring you back. And welcome back. So following putting the scope down the number 2 cylinder, this is one of the plugs. It's not too bad. Like I showed you, like I was telling you before, it is an NGK. You can see it's a little bit carboned up, but it's not terrible. It's not soaked in oil, which is good. Looks like they used anti-seize on the spark plug threads. I'm not going to comment on that, but I know NGK's website does say that not to use anti-seize on their plugs, but to each their own. So with that being said, we're going to continue. Like we commented earlier, we're just going to pull one spark plug out of each cylinder, give everything a quick look, and then we'll go from there. Thank you much. And welcome back. Well, it takes one longer than originally thought to go through and check the cylinders. But we've got the cylinders checked out at this point, or at least as much as we could reach. We did 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I think it's 1 and 3 on this side, 5 and 7 on the back. As you can see, there are just a bear to even get the coil pack off because the size of the brake booster is in the way. Pretty much almost everything is in the way on the driver's side of getting these plugs out. We were able to check the first 2, but seeing as 4, 5, 6, and seeing as 6 of the 8 cylinders, the pistons, as you saw in the video, were looking good. Didn't see any dropped valve seats in them, didn't see any piston damage, and even in some of the cylinders, as we were going through it, I could still see the crosshatch pattern and the cylinder wall. So even though it may be in excess of about 180-ish thousand miles on this engine, at least the cylinders themselves looked good. The coils looked to be replacement aftermarkets, just by some of the markings on them. They're not OEM, again, which is fine, but it looks like whenever the spark plugs were done, they're all the same plug. They all looked the same, pulling them out of the cylinder. You know, no mechanical or physical damages noted on them, and all of the coils have the exact same manufacturer stamp on them. Let's see, so what we're going to do at this point is that you can see that we've got our new battery in place, and we are going to go ahead and hook a battery up to it and just kind of sit and wait. We're not going to start it just yet. We just want to basically do quote-unquote a smoke check to make sure that nothing is how shall I say, too angry. So we're going to go ahead and get this battery connected, and then we'll plug a scan tool in, and I'll bring you back. Thank you much. Okay, welcome back. So far we've got the battery attached. It's been attached for about 5 minutes. If you hear that clicking, that's the stereotypical Chrysler, as well as many other vehicles, blend door actuator losing its marbles. So we'll have to track down which one's doing that and get it replaced. But you can see from the dash here, hopefully you can see that okay. I'll get you in close. It looks like we've got about 193,810 miles on this girl, and she thinks she's got about 154 miles until empty. And we got a few lights on the dash. Some of that's to be expected. Yeah, serve 4-wheel drive, ESP, BAS, things of that nature, and a lot of that, some of that, not all of it, but probably the big chunk of it's going to be related to those speed sensors and such that need to be replaced, and then we can kind of go on from there. What the scan tool has auto-identify the vehicle, as you can see there. So what we're going to do is come in here and just do a system health. Now, there won't be any history codes, unfortunately, because, like I said, the vehicle did ship here without a battery, but we're going to see what we can get. And our ignition is on. And we're getting some faults in some modules, but to be expected. So active, yep, left front wheel speed circuit, right rear speed circuit, left rear sensor speed circuit. And we got some stored ones in here. Those are just lost communications because it lost power. We've got a driver frontal squib 2 control circuit open. That's going to be related to our restraint system. And we got a bunch of stored codes in here. Again, more than likely from losing the battery and communication. Left side marker lamp, control circuit open. And right turn lamp. Left turn lamp. Right side marker, reverse lamp. And a lot of that's going to be some of that is going to be related to the custom lights they have in here, so we'll have to trace down some wiring. But that's right rear, left rear, right side marker, and reverse. So a lot of this is just in the rear of the vehicle. That's fine, we can go over that. Battery voltage low, stored. TPMS, figured that was going to happen because of the custom tires that are on it. Yeah, recirculation door, that was that clicking that you saw, or that you heard earlier. Satellite radio antenna internal performance, I don't care about satellite radio. Battery voltage low. Stored. And door module front left. Lost communication with master power window switch. Yeah, I knew that was broken earlier when I tried it. Driver meter heater control. Okay, so we'll have some issues here in the driver's side door. ECU reset recovery occurred. Okay, that's fine because it lost its battery. Passenger puddle lamp control circuit short to battery or open. Passenger mirror signal lamp. So we got an issue with the passenger side mirror. Incompatible data received from ABS, so we'll have to look into that one. Could be a bad ABS module, could be a fuse, who knows. Power control modules normal, and cabin compartment note instrument cluster is normal. So we got a laundry list of items. So what we want to do is do a report on this. I'm going to okay that. And I don't want to type anything else in. That's guy. We're going to save that. Okay, so with that being done, we know we got a laundry list of items to at least chase down, or at least those items that the various modules are doing a power on test for. So we'll have a couple things that obviously we need to chase down and see, what's going on. So what we're going to do now is just going to attempt to crank it. Remember earlier we did check our oil level and it was fine. We do have oil, we do have transmission fluid, and we went through and checked the cylinders again, at least the ones that we could adequately get to, and then we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and attempt to crank this for a little bit and see what it sounds like. Now it's going to be pretty loud from the exhaust standpoint because it does have those broken bolts in the passenger side exhaust header that we noticed earlier. So we know that we're going to get at least some loud exhaust noise at this point. What we're going to be listening for is any kind of upper or lower lower motor damage, loud tinging, pinging, clicking, things of that nature. So let's see what we got. Yeah, she's a little rough. She's hunting on the idle. Yeah, she got really rough idle. And that's it. Just died. And let's see. Has been setting up for a while. Now, I heard the exhaust noise in there, but I fully expected that. But the good thing was, at least from the cab point in here, I'm not hearing any upper engine clanks or lower engine clanks. Yep, there we go. Got a check engine light. So we'll let it run for a little bit, let it get itself sorted out, and then we'll run another scan on it and see what the engine controller has got to tell us. But I'm gonna let this run for a little bit and I'll bring you back. Thank you much. So you heard it on the last test. You saw it was extremely shaky. It had pretty rough idle. That's pretty telltale signs that it's got a pretty good misfire going on right now. Multiple things can cause that, but she's got misfires across the board at this point. I don't know if you can see that graph too well, but it took me a little while to find the misfire counters on this particular scan tool. But cylinders 1 and 2 are fine. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all showing some type of a misfire right now, which is why it's running, basically running to sound like an old steam engine. At this point, I don't want to do that too much because it's just going to cause the cylinders to flood out with gas and, you know, wash out the cylinders and such. So we got a course of action that we need to take care of first, which is going to be getting this engine running in decent shape and finding the cause of the fault. As we were taking it apart, if you remember, we made mention that all the coil packs on this particular vehicle has been changed out, as well as the spark plugs. I mean, it could very well be that somebody was chasing this issue down, but again, this vehicle was reported as a theft vehicle, so, you know, kind of interesting. I'm thinking it was way more than a theft vehicle at this point. But, you know, no harm, no foul. What we're going to have to do right now is just, in the next installment, we're going to have to chase signal commands and make sure that, A, do we have power at the coils? Do we have good grounds at the coils? And are we getting the signal to fire at the coil? So we're going to have to chase that down, figure out where our issues could be. Maybe it's just a handful of bad coils. I seriously doubt that, because that would mean that, you know, 6 of our 8 cylinders all have bad coil packs. I mean, it's a possibility. But we'll have to do some... We'll have to chase some stuff down, and we'll have to see what's going on. Well, as you saw it, we got a laundry list of items to go through. But like I said, we're going to concentrate on getting the engine at least running at this point, so we can get it driving under its own power. And then I can get this more appropriately located a little bit closer to the garage and kind of get it out of the street. But for now, this is where we sit. I'm going to go ahead and just disconnect the battery at this point. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you much. Bye.